Welcome to another round of 65 mind-blowing random facts. Male platypuses have a fascinating genetic quirk. They possess 10 sex chromosomes, 5X and 5Y, unlike most mammals. A surprising number of farmed salmon are partially deaf. The culprit is often vaterite, a deformity that can impair hearing by up to 50%, and is much more common in farmed fish than in wild salmon. Voyager 1 is currently located approximately 24.9 million kilometers, or 15.5 million miles away from Earth. Due to this immense distance, it takes about 23 hours and 9 minutes for a signal traveling at the speed of light to reach the spacecraft. In 1990, Voyager 1 captured the iconic pale blue dot image as part of a series of photos of our solar system. The camera was later turned off to conserve power for the long journey ahead. The golden circle on Portugal's flag is an armillary sphere, a nod to the country's seafaring past. It's not just a navigation tool, it's a symbol of Portugal's bold exploration and global impact during the Age of Discoveries. Linguistic and genetic evidence shows that Madagascar's first inhabitants came from Indonesia, not Africa, a finding supported by ocean current patterns. Dinosaurs are categorized by hip structure: bird-hipped, ornithischians, like the Triceratops, and lizard-hipped, saurischians, like the T-Rex. Ironically, birds actually evolved from the lizard-hipped group, even though it might seem counterintuitive. SCUBA stands for self-contained underwater breathing apparatus, basically, the gear that lets you breathe underwater. The coconut crab is a terrestrial hermit crab, and it's the largest land-living arthropod in the world. The young coconut crabs use shells for protection, like typical hermit crabs, but adults develop a hardened exoskeleton and no longer need a shell. Cambodia, Thailand, and Myanmar lead the pack with the world's highest Buddhist populations, 97%, 85%, and 90% respectively. A deck of cards might secretly mirror the calendar: 52 cards for weeks, 4 suits for seasons, and 13 cards per suit for lunar cycles. Add the card values, and you get 364. Throw in a joker for 365, and a second for leap years. Coincidence? Probably. Playing cards predate the Gregorian calendar, so it's unlikely they were designed as a hidden calendar. Still, it's fun to think about. The Wieliczka salt mine in Poland is a marvel. It churned out table salt for over 700 years until 1996. Now a UNESCO site, it's a subterranean art gallery with chapels, statues, and chandeliers, all carved from salt. A true underground masterpiece. Saudi Arabia has no permanent rivers, but it does have wadis, riverbeds that flow intermittently after rainfall. They also import approximately 80% of its food due to its desert climate and limited agricultural land. Purple became the color of royalty because of snails. Yes, snails. Ancient Romans made Tyrian purple dye from murex snail mucus, and it took 12,000 snails to produce just 1 gram. Speaking of purple, BASF, also known as Baden Aniline and Soda Factory, the world's largest chemical producer, began its operations with the production of aniline dyes, including those used to create purple and other colors, revolutionizing the textile industry. Flamingos are incredibly tough. They thrive in water as hot as 140 Fahrenheit or 60 degrees Celsius, and in water so alkaline it would burn human skin. They can even drink near boiling water. And yet, they can also survive in cold climates as long as they have access to unfrozen water for food. Some flamingo species even make their homes near active volcanoes. Great white sharks, usually lone coastal hunters, make an epic journey to the White Shark Cafe, a remote spot in the Pacific. Some travel over 100 days to get there, then dive deep up to 3,000 feet over and over. Why? Scientists are still figuring it out, but it's one of the ocean's coolest mysteries. July 24, 2025 will be a Pythagorean day, meaning they satisfy the Pythagorean theorem: a squared plus b squared equals c squared. In this case, 7 squared plus 24 squared equals 25 squared. And don't worry about the date format due to the commutative property of addition. The odds of a birth at 12:01 a.m. on January 1st are about 1 in 525,600, assuming, of course, that births are evenly distributed throughout the year. However, births aren't perfectly even, so this is still a rough estimate. Blue whales consume a staggering 50 million calories daily. That's like eating 80,000 Big Macs, while a typical adult might consume around 2,000 calories. Alaska dominates the U.S. mountain game. All 10 of the country's tallest peaks are there, led by Denali, officially known as Mount McKinley, with a summit elevation of 20,310 feet or 6,190 meters above sea level. The British pound's history stretches back to Anglo-Saxon England, where it originated as a unit representing a pound of silver, making it one of the world's oldest currencies still in use. The Rialto Bridge, a Venice landmark since 1591, faces structural challenges due to the city's foundation and frequent flooding, necessitating ongoing restoration. The ISS circles the Earth every 90 minutes. That's 16 orbits a day. The Queen Alexandra's birdwing reigns supreme as the world's largest butterfly, with a wingspan that can exceed 30 centimeters or a foot. The density of a cloud is typically around 1.3 kilograms per cubic meter, or about 0.081 pounds per cubic foot. Because of their sensitivity to environmental changes, salamanders are studied by scientists as bioindicators. Declines in salamander populations can signal broader ecosystem problems, including the impact of pollution. The pigment sepia was originally obtained from the ink sac of the cuttlefish, particularly from the species Sepia officinalis. This natural pigment, with its rich brown hue, was widely used in art and writing before the advent of synthetic dyes. Ermine is the fur of the stoat, Mustela erminea, a small mammal in the weasel family. In colder climates, the stoat's coat turns pure white during winter, and this white fur, known as ermine, has been highly prized throughout history, particularly for use in royal garments and ceremonial attire. Balanophobia is the fear of needles, pins, or other sharp pointed objects, derived from the Greek word balon, meaning needle. Pigeons are generally monogamous, forming strong pair bonds that usually last a lifetime. They can live for up to 20 years. Ireland is famously snake-free, meaning there are no native snake populations. Occasional sightings of snakes likely represent accidental introductions, not established breeding colonies. Ireland's lack of native snakes is due to timing. Rising sea levels isolated Ireland before snakes could colonize after the last ice age, unlike Britain. Opossums play a helpful role in tick control, consuming large numbers of these pests. The highest capital city in the world is La Paz, Bolivia, sitting at an elevation of approximately 3,650 meters or 11,975 feet above sea level. Ceres is the largest known asteroid in the solar system. It's so large that it was reclassified as a dwarf planet in 2006. Ceres is located in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. Edwin Hubble provided definitive evidence that the Milky Way is just one galaxy among many in the universe. Burkina Faso's capital city is Ouagadougou. In 1800, astronomer William Herschel stumbled upon infrared radiation while experimenting with sunlight. He was measuring the temperature of different colors when he noticed the area beyond red, where there was no visible light, registered the highest temperature. This invisible heat ray, as he initially called it, expanded our understanding of light and laid the foundation for technologies like thermal imaging and remote controls. Asiatic lions do still exist in the wild, but only in India. They are found in and around Gir National Park in the state of Gujarat. Their population is relatively small, and they are classified as endangered. Ever wonder why body hair doesn't grow as long as the hair on your head? It's all about the growth cycle. Body hair sheds much sooner, around 4 months for eyebrows, compared to the 3 to 7 year cycle for scalp hair. Cows have no upper front teeth. They use a dental pad for grazing. Giant Pacific octopuses lay up to 56,000 eggs and then fiercely guard them, often sacrificing their own lives in the process. Most mammals experience goosebumps or piloerection, a reaction to cold, fear, or even aggression. Over the last 71 million years, the Earth's magnetic poles have flipped approximately 171 times. However, these reversals aren't periodic. They occur at irregular intervals. Also, the North Magnetic Pole's current drift is around 55 kilometers per hour, or 34 miles per hour annually. Although identical twins have very similar genetic makeup, their fingerprints are distinct due to the influence of random environmental factors during their time in the womb that affect the final formation of their fingerprints, like blood flow and fetal position. Ciabatta is the Italian bread that translates to slipper bread. It's named for its flat, elongated shape, which resembles a slipper. The pangolin is the world's only mammal sporting a full suit of armor made of scales. Our solar system, along with the Sun, orbits the center of the Milky Way galaxy approximately every 230 million Earth years. This period is known as a galactic year or cosmic year. Given the Sun's age of about 4.6 billion years, it has completed roughly 20 of these galactic orbits. The primary function of xylem in plants is to transport water and dissolved minerals from roots to the rest of the plant. Guido van Rossum created the programming language of Python and released it in 1991, naming it after the British comedy show Monty Python's Flying Circus. The first adhesive postage stamp, known as the penny black, was issued in the UK on May 1, 1840. Of all the continents, Africa has the most countries. San Marino's constitutional tradition is exceptionally old, with key legal documents dating back to 1600, making it a strong contender for the title of oldest surviving written constitution. Pencil grading varies internationally. In the US, a numeric scale, ranging from softer, darker marking pencils like number 1 to harder, lighter ones, is common, with the number 2 pencil being the standard for everyday use. Internationally, the HB scale is used, ranging from 9H lightest to 9B darkest. A number 2 pencil is roughly equivalent to an HB. Skeuomorphism, when modern objects, real or digital, retain features of previous designs even when they aren't functional. Examples include the very tiny handle on maple syrup bottles, faux buckles on shoes, the floppy disk save icon, or the sound of a shutter on a cell phone camera. Masako Nozawa has voiced Goku, as well as his sons Gohan and Goten, in the Dragon Ball franchise since 1986, including all anime series, movies, and video games. She is currently 88 years old. Geysers are rare because they need water, heat, and special underground plumbing made from fractures and chambers in rock. Yellowstone National Park is home to roughly half of the world's geysers. When your mouth is closed and you're relaxed, the main part of your tongue rests against the roof of your mouth. Meerkats get most of the hydration they need from their insect diet, allowing them to survive in the desert. However, they will drink water when available, especially in extreme heat. When you blush, it's not just your face that turns red, your stomach lining blushes too. Blood rushes to both spots thanks to your body's emotional stress response. The youngest picture of yourself is also the oldest picture of yourself. While we call them melons, watermelons are actually a type of berry called a pepo, just like cantaloupes. However, they belong to different genera within the gourd family or the Cucurbitaceae family. The elements that make up our world have a truly cosmic origin. While the lightest elements were formed in the Big Bang, every element heavier than lithium was forged in the core of a star through nuclear fusion. And the heaviest elements, those beyond iron, were created in the cataclysmic explosions of supernovae, scattering these newly formed elements across the universe. Thanks for watching. If you loved these mind-blowing facts, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss out on more amazing discoveries. Which fact surprised you the most? Drop a comment below. See you in the next video.